Welcome to the Casey Ingram Show Meet Your Candidate series. No spin, no agenda, no endorsements, just the candidate. Before we begin, I'd like to thank the many listeners who submitted questions for this interview. Several of those questions have been incorporated into today's discussion. Questions are not shared with the candidates prior to the interview. If you enjoy the show and would like to stay informed on local issues and elections, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm Casey Ingram. Let's get into it. Althea Wiley is running for Martin County Commission District 2. Welcome to the show, Althea.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
It is my pleasure to have you. Absolutely. And it's been fun to get to know you a little bit here on the campaign trail. So the first time
Uh-huh.
I met Althea was at the We Care Martin Forum last week.
Right.
So, tell us just a little bit about yourself, Althea, and why are you running for the position?
Oh, wow. Well, Stacy, I am born and raised here in Martin County, Jensen Beach, and it took a lot to get to really like the county. We've come a long ways. I have
Right.
6 children, 9 grandchildren, was married for almost over 30 something years here in the county. Have a catering business, open a couple of restaurants. My second restaurant was downtown Stewart, was very exciting. Realtor. I just have an advocate in the community for over 15 years. I've been out in the community, informing the community of what's going on in the community, trying to connect the community together. So that's what I've been doing for the past 15 years. And I also was a homemaker for about 25 years.
You're
So
a
I stayed
jack
home and
of all,
raised my Yeah, I
yeah,
stayed home,
jack of
was
all
able to
trades.
exactly, because I never really thought about, okay, a resume. What do I've done it all.
Yes, exactly.
I've really done it all.
Well, Althea, that's
So
like somebody after my own heart, to be honest with you, because it's so
mhm,
important for the community to be informed, and everybody is
yeah.
so busy. It's hard for them
Hmm.
to keep in touch with what's going on. You know,
Yes,
things get passed at the county commission and city levels. You're busy with your life, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, what's going on here next door? Or wait, when
exactly.
did that hotel get approved? Or wait, they're
Exactly.
putting in a new road there, whatever it is. So being that voice out in the community is super important. And I
Right.
think, do you feel like it's really put you in touch with what people are looking for right now during this campaign election cycle?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I feel that I'm in touch with the people, literally the everyday people. And a lot of it's from lived experience. So I understand when there is crisis and different ones are going through crisis, I'm able to connect with them and understand them and not just say, oh, we'll pray for them or this will happen. No, you understand what someone is going through because one, you've lived through it and you actually see what happens. I don't care who you are, Casey. I don't care if you're the nurse. I don't care if you the deputy's wife or something. I've connected with so many different people. I just don't get on social media and broadcast it, you know,
Right.
because it's personal and you understand that, So
What are
yeah.
you hearing out there from folks, Althea?
The last time a lot of I don't see how you doing it. I don't see how you're putting Oh, that
Yeah.
could be, I've seen that a lot. And one thing that I've noticed being out there and being in the community is how important what I was doing was to people because they would come to my channel and say, if I want to know what's going on, I'm gonna go to your page. And also when things happen in the community, I would get inbox, I would get a phone call, or y'all contact Miss Thea. Y'all just listen, look for Althea. She'll look into it because they know that I was gonna look into it and I was gonna make sure I got the right information and not a biased information.
Absolutely. It's fantastic. And people need that voice. I know that they do.
Yeah.
Althea,
Yes.
what inspired you to run for the county commission?
Honestly, Casey, because I've been out in the community and I started there, we've come a long way here in Martin County. I saw us being able to connect with one another, being able to reach out to the sheriff department, connect with the chief of police, connect with different entities throughout the community. And I thought, felt that we were growing. But in the beginning, it was a lot of things that were happening. And because I was connected and I knew a lot of people, and it's like, oh, this is what, okay. And see that it was going in the wrong direction, that I personally didn't want the community to go backwards. So it's like, you know what? Let me do something, And I can remember it was 2 weeks tossing and turning about whether to run because I'm not qualified. I can't do this. But it never left me. It never left me. I've never was into politics. Had no idea. I was always asked my husband or listen to him tell me about what was happening in the politics and everything. And also, I've gone to so many different meetings and I saw people go up to that podium for a few minutes and that was it. And the next week they'll try again and that was it. And I went to the county a couple of times and I saw how they were just, man, there's nothing happening. It's a whole different world over in that county, in the
Yeah.
city, you
Mhm.
know? And I was just seeing things being, I feel, ignored that were important.
Well, hats off to you. It's a big deal to put your hat into any race,
Hmm.
and when somebody
Hmm.
puts themselves out there, I have tremendous respect for all the candidates that do that. It's not easy, it's
Yes.
not, and,
Yeah.
unfortunately, with social media, people can make it even less easy. So, just congratulations, and I appreciate that you put
Hmm.
yourself out there. That's what you need to do. You see something that you don't agree with, Althea,
Yeah.
you said, "I'm gonna change it," instead of sitting there complaining, so,
That's
you know?
true. And
Yeah,
that's why I've always said that, don't be on the sidelines.
right.
Be the change that you want to see.
It's the only way.
Hmm.
Now, Althea, what experiences have best prepared you to serve on that county commission?
Understand the dynamics. I'm going to always say the everyday people, Casey, because especially in the county, and I was listening to how they were talking about wanting the meetings to be in the evenings. And when it's in the morning, there's only a certain group that are able to be in the morning. You're either retired, you're wealthy, or you just have the time. But the everyday people don't have that ability to be there at in the evening times as well as in the city. So there's a whole demographic that we're missing there to be able to understand what's happening in the county.
I agree, Althea. I do. Somebody had brought that up again.
Hmm.
This election cycle, and they're not getting a lot of success with the commissioners.
Hmm.
But like Port St. Lucie, the city of Port St. Lucie, a lot of the major decisions have to have two readings. So they do
Right.
one reading in the morning and the second reading in the evening. And I think that's like
Hmm.
a fair way because the county commission. I agree, the agenda can get really long, so don't make it
Right.
long.
Right.
Just
Exactly.
just do the second reading and, a couple other items
Exactly.
if you like, and, it gives people the opportunity, so what do you believe is the biggest challenge facing Martin County over the next 4 years?
Biggest challenge I feel is understanding what's going to happen to our paradise because we're going to have the growth. That's a given. But at the same time, the very fiber of what Martin County is, we still have control over it. Port St. Lucie is different because people came from all over, and they brought their ideas, they brought they brought it to Port St. Lucie. We know Martin County. And if we want to keep Martin County, I say the real difference, then it's going to take us to do that. Because I was talking to someone, if we don't take control now, when others come in, we may not know who they are on either seat in the city or in the county. So it's us to make sure that it goes in the direction that we made it and continue that so that we won't lose control as it grows. And I
Protecting
feel
your
that's a
heritage.
protect exactly, exactly.
So if you're elected, what would be your top 3 priorities during your first year in office?
Of course, Casey, my first 100 days will be to understand. I am totally new to government. I am totally new to politics, so I have to know what is going on and how.
Mhm.
It's not something that's complicated, but it's the fact that I haven't been in it. I admit that, but at the same time, I'm capable of learning what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. I'm organic,
Right, right.
you
Everybody's
know?
there when they first get elected, Althea, and they all have to
Exact
learn, and there's conferences you go to learn about ethics and
mhm,
sunshine laws, so it makes sense.
exactly. So and the second one is to make sure that the people have representation, because everybody has their own agenda. And I'm finding out I didn't know it was so many different layers to this. and who pulls the strings and all that. But it's the people that needs to have a voice in that at that table. People that understands the whole dynamic, whether it's mental illness, whether it's an addiction, whether it's unhoused. They said unhoused and housed now.
Mhm.
And it's the very people, not someone who we know, well, I have this business or several business or I'm a millionaire, whatever. No, it's the people because we all need each other. That's the bottom line. And they're going to have a
We
voice
do.
in that seat,
Hmm. Absolutely.
And the third one is to just make sure it's fair across the board. Just
Sounds
just fair.
I like the sound of that. Believe me. Martin County has committed land valued at nearly $3 million and identified up to $15 million in potential local matching funds if outside grants become available for a Brightline station.
Hmm.
Brightline has reported more than $5.5 billion in debt and has faced significant financial challenges meeting some of its debt obligations.
Hmm.
Given those concerns, do you support using county land or tax dollars to support a privately owned railroad?
That I'm still learning more about that. When Brightline was coming through, and I knew that they were coming through like 80 miles per hour, my concern immediately was for the residents,
Mhm.
that the pedestrian, especially on Florida, I believe it's Florida Avenue in downtown, because our community walks across there, especially in downtown. And my concern was the speed of that train. And then when I began to look at Brightline, I'm thinking $80 billion. I'm thinking, whoa, who's going to go up against that? You know.
Right.
But it was just the safety of the residents. As far as I still have to learn more about this land use and what the county will be able to do and won't be able, what they shouldn't do.
Right. A lot of it's gonna depend on if they get the grants or not from the federal
Yes,
level by June
yes,
30 of '27, as I understand it. Now,
yes.
second part of that, because this is right in, East Stewart, Florida
Hmm.
East Coast Railway has indicated it would not permit a station near those sailfish ball fields. If that location is no longer feasible, should Martin County continue pursuing the station? And if so, should the fairgrounds be considered as an alternative location?
I believe the fairground should be an alternative location. If we're going to have it here, I believe that the fairground, because the fair is going to be moving out west. If
Right.
that's still, I believe the fairground would be my first option.
A lot of
Yes.
people have definitely talked about that for
Yes.
sure. Now, speaking of the fairgrounds, many residents have suggested using the Martin County Fairgrounds as a location for a homeless shelter. Do you believe
Hmm.
that would be an appropriate location?
Then they were, yes, that would be appropriate depending on how we're going to be able to put housing there or any type of, use there for the unhoused. I
Right.
believe that would be, or a vacant building that is owned by the county, or the city, that they can negotiate to see what can be done with the buildings that they already have that's vacant.
So, flat out, does Martin County need a permanent homeless shelter?
Permanent homeless shelter, transitional, to have someone come in maybe a year, 2 years to get on their feet if they choose to, because sometimes there are people that may not choose to be housed, but those are the ones that choose to, if they, you know, had situations and they really want to get back on their feet, by all means, let's make sure that we're able to be in a position to help them. Not a permanent situation, but something that they can get up on their feet.
And now the major question, how should it be funded?
I'm going to say, we have several nonprofits out there. If there's any way that the county can assist them, then I would be in favor of them assisting them.
Okay. Since the We Care Martin Forum on July 7, what is one issue you wish you had more time to explain to voters?
Because it's, like I was saying, sometimes things are over your head. A lot of the language and the word, it's over your head. So once a community or someone understands, then they're able to make decisions, then they're able to understand the dynamics of government, the dynamics of how the city or the county comes up with decisions. But until that understanding is there, sometimes people just feel, just they don't even want to get involved because they don't understand it. So
True.
we just go with anything and let others decide. But my thing is to become more educated myself, and then as I become more educated, I can educate others.
Gotcha.
Understand it.
Perfect. Okay. Now, next, a proposed constitutional amendment to significantly reduce or eliminate property taxes will appear on the ballot this November. What
Mhm.
is your position on that amendment?
If we're going, who's going to benefit from it being eliminated? Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 250 or more.
I think it
If
starts at
I'm
150 and they'll cap at 500 of,
100,
over a period of time.
right. And if we do away with the property taxes, then it's going to leave a lot of other entities that's going to have to be cut. So I think
Big
that
issue.
yeah, yeah, that.
It
And
is
then the resident's still going to pay a price.
one way or the other, huh?
They're going to pay, yes, ma'am.
So, if it passes, though, and Martin County does lose a significant amount of property tax revenue, what areas of the county government would you reduce first, and what areas would you protect at all cost?
But I would definitely protect our first responders. I would definitely protect our library, and the other issues that I have to become more familiar with to see where cuts can be made that it will not affect the people. I would be have to look at that a little bit more. But I definitely don't want those areas to be cut.
Right, right.
And definitely the schools.
Yes.
Yes.
So, county government has grown substantially over the past decade. Do you
Mm-hmm.
believe county government has grown too large, is about the right size, or still needs to expand? And what metrics do you use to determine whether government is the right size?
That's a good question. I think right now we're able to handle the county right now with the growth that's coming. We may have to expand a little bit, but right now we're able to, long as that we stay in control of it and grow with it.
So, Martin County continues to face pressure for both residential and commercial growth. What do you believe is the appropriate long term balance between residential development, commercial and industrial development, and preserving agricultural and conservation lands?
I think right now we need commercial industry in here because we need the income. We have a lot of apartments complexes here that's not even filled, and I'm not sure about the homes right now, but I know that there is a lot of apartment complex here in Martin County, period. So we need the income now. We need to get businesses. We need to take care of the business that's here, the mom and pop business, the small businesses here, and make sure that they're able to sustain themselves, and hire. And then we also need to bring in more income. So we do need commercial businesses to come in.
So,
Mhm.
taxpayers expect every dollar to be spent wisely. What
Mhm.
county department, program, or spending priority do you believe deserves the greatest scrutiny over the next 4 years and why?
That I do have to get in there and look at the budget and see how it's being spent. I can't if I don't know. Casey, there's no need in me trying to just randomly say something I've already heard without looking at it for myself.
I respect that. I'd rather somebody
Mhm.
say they're not sure yet and they're going to look into it
Right.
rather than just off the cuff
Yeah.
something. So
Right.
many, honestly, so many candidates campaign on the need for change. Specifically, what would you do differently than the current county commission?
For change, transparency, definitely transparency and representation up there at that county commission. We need
What
we
is
need to have representation up there. Someone who
absolutely
actually it's great to have experience. A lot of people just, well, I've been experienced and I've been on this board and I've done that and I've done that. That's good. But what about, have you really identified with the people? Have you actually identified and actually sat down with them to understand where they're coming from? Because it's easy to say, well, we should do this, but how do you know your opinion is actually what's needed?
right.
You
You
know?
think sometimes they're in office, for a period, whether it's local or state or federal, but they get in office for so long they kind of lose touch with the average person, what they're dealing with.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because they don't have the connection there.
Right.
They
So
I mean, they don't.
right. Yeah. We're going to talk about term limits in a minute. So that might be,
Mhm.
well, I'll have you answer it in a minute. What is one decision made by the current commission over the past 4 years that you believe was a mistake, and how would you have voted differently?
Casey, I can't even really answer that because I haven't really been in tune with
Okay.
with the county.
Gotcha. I
you
know you've been
know?
watching the city.
Yeah, just
Okay.
so I don't want to, fly
Right.
off the handle and say anything like, I really
Exactly.
do a little bit more understanding.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. So you've never served on the county commission. Some voters may
No.
see that as bringing a fresh perspective, while others
Hmm.
may question your experience.
Hmm.
Why should voters trust you to oversee a county budget approaching $800 million?
Again, I'm going to say learned experience. Of course, it's been on the social media of about my fictions, about things I've gone through. Well, you learn by what you've gone through, you know?
Right.
And I feel that, well, whether it's $100 or $100 million, well, you can't spend what you don't have. I don't care who you are, right?
Amen.
And you need to know what your basic skill, I mean, what your basic needs are.
Mhm.
What are the basic needs that we got to make sure we have to have in that county that we have to take care of? We
Absolutely.
can't, as we say, rob Peter to pay Paul. That's just plain and simple. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So now you have someone who has, well, my budget may not have been as large as the county, but I know, well, if you don't have it, don't spend it. What's needed first? And my dad was a carpenter, right? He built a lot of things around here throughout Martin County, and he was very thrifty. He can take an old drywall or old piece of wood or whatever and make sure he doesn't throw that wood away.
Yeah.
Because one day he's going to need it. It's the same thing. What do we need? But we can just put to the side right now, but we're going to need it later to come back to, basically. So it's common sense. And
It
I've
is.
had to learn that. So
Amen.
I'm not ashamed that I have to say I've had to learn that. That's what trial and error is. That's
100%.
what
We all
mistakes
have
is.
that. We all
Exactly. I'm just not afraid to say it.
there you go. Can you give voters an example from your career or community service where you made a difficult or unpopular decision because you believed it was the right
When I only thought about myself,
one?
when I only thought about what I wanted, how I wanted it to be, I couldn't see the way, whether it was my spouse or whether it was another person saying, you do it this way. No, this is what I want. And that's the problem. We only want things the way we see it. But if I can sit and understand, well, what's your perspective of it? Let me understand that. Could be right, but then I could be wrong also.
Sounds like sit down and have a cup of coffee with
That's
Althea.
it. Absolutely.
So, public trust in government has become an important issue. You've brought this up throughout here. What specific steps would you take to make county government more transparent and accountable?
Just to be real with people, just to let them know, not say things just because it sounds good and that's what you feel people want to hear, because people have come to me and they made a situation so bad. But when I went to investigate it, it was like, this is why that happened. So I
Mhm.
had to be upfront and honest with them. Although it may appear to look good and they felt that they were did wrong, but no, we have to look at it this way because there are laws and there was situation and protocols that had to be they had to go by. And then, well, okay, well, since you said that, then I'll take that. And that's how you have to be. You have to be very transparent with people because everything, I won't be able to make decisions just because I want it a certain way. I have to look at what the other where they're coming from and
Yep.
why the decisions need to be made for the good of the county,
Right.
not for the good of me, but for the good of the county as a whole.
Now, the next section is going to be a little bit quicker. Answer yes, no, and you can give a brief explanation if you need to on any of these topics.
Hmm.
Do you support additional residential density?
Let me look at that a little bit more. I can't.
Okay, no,
Okay.
that's
Hmm.
fine. Do you support hyperscale data centers?
Not right now. From what I've been reading, not right now. I need to learn more about how it's going to affect the community, the
Okay.
residents.
Do you support flock cameras?
No,
Do you support holding one evening county commission meeting each month?
absolutely yes.
I knew you were going to say that on that one. It's definitely more voices is always good.
Hmm.
Do you support expanding conservation land purchases?
Expanding on, not right now, not right now. I love this guy. I love it. I love being able to go out when it's cool, especially in the morning, going out and enjoying it. Yes,
Right.
yes, we need it.
Now, do you support the no bid public private partnerships for major county projects?
No bid, you say?
Yes.
Let me look into that a little bit more. Yeah, because everyone needs to have an opportunity. Everyone needs to have an opportunity.
Okay.
Mhm.
And finally, do you support term limits for county commissioners?
Yes, I do. I
You've
do.
spoken about ensuring every part of Martin County has a voice in local government. Are there communities or neighborhoods you believe have been underserved by the county commission? And if so, what would you do differently to address their concerns?
Go out in it. Go out in it. Try as much as I can to connect with the residents, not just a few, not just the ones with the loudest voices. No, go out and make sure I understand that the whole dynamics of the community. If I have to go out and spend the day with them, sit down, with them and just understand who they are and what that community needs. Not just from sitting at the table, but actually going out several days or months and spending time with the community to get a feel for it and an understanding of what that particular community needs, wherever it is.
Right. It's very important.
Mhm.
Althea, what is your leadership style?
My leadership is by example. It's truly by an example. One thing I've often told tell my kids and my nieces them, it's like, I've made a lot of mistakes. So one thing about it, I'm going to get up. And as I get up, you get up. That means just trust me enough because my example, I'm going to do my best and walk as I should and as I say. Don't just do it because I'm saying it. Just watch me.
There you go. I don't know. I always tell my daughter, don't do as I do as I say. I know that's not
No,
right, but
no, I don't know because we have to lead by our example. But if you
I
if you
agree.
make a mistake, so it's best to say, you know what, I messed up, man.
I
I'm
agree.
sorry, but this is how I'm going to straighten it out.
So, what question aren't voters asking that they should be?
How did you come to that decision? How? Mhm.
You have 1 minute to speak directly to undecided voters. Why should they trust you with their vote?
Asking that the voters give me a chance because I am truly organic and I am truly for the people. And it doesn't matter what color you are, what's your background, what's your color, meaning you're red or blue. It doesn't matter. Give the opportunity to someone who is going to actually care and hear your concerns. Hear
Now,
your concerns.
yeah, for sure.
Because I'm going to learn this. I'm going to understand all this government. I promise you that. And that's the beauty of where I am. And at first I was thinking, oh wow, no, I don't. But I can do this because all it takes is understanding, you
I
know?
bet, I bet you've learned a lot already just being on the campaign trail in this short amount of time.
Yeah. That change is needed. Change is really needed. And is the more I learn, it's important that the community, the county, the everyday people learn that they won't become casualties of decisions. Because if you're not at the table, you don't have a decision to you don't have a voice.
It's true.
And you have someone that's going to break it down and explain it. So it won't be because so emotional
Right. Right.
these emotional and this follow the leader, follow the loudest voice. No, you're going to understand why decisions are made and how decisions are going to protect you. You have someone that's going to protect you, the viewers, the voters.
So, there are three candidates competing for this open seat. What sets you apart from the other candidates, and why are you the best choice to represent District 2?
One, I am organic. There is no hidden agenda, no special interest. I didn't just pop out and decide and within 24, 48 hours to do this here. I have been out in the community. I have raised 6 children, 9 grandchildren. I have a community of viewers, meaning on the social media I'm a trusted voice. I'm a trusted person that you can count on to make sure that the decision is made for your interest and not mine. I don't have any special interest. I don't have, and I didn't even understand all of these entities that they talk about donors and understand. But I am so glad, Casey, that I don't have that. And I'm truly for the people. What I don't know, I'm going to find out to make sure it's the best thing for the county as a whole, not a certain group, not a certain community, but as a whole.
Now, Althea, important part, how can voters support your campaign and learn more about you?
Well, they can go to my social media page.
There
All
you
about
go.
me is right there. So what's being said about me is something I have not said about myself. So they just go down my thread, but they can also go from years. They'll find out about Althea, and also to go to Althea campaign. And if you want to support, yes, because we are grassroots, and I'm only wanting what I need, because when we get those cards, people have gotten cards and mailers in the mail. What happens to them? They go to the garbage.
Right.
They go to the garbage. I'm thinking, no, I only need what I need. And that is visibility. If it's just a like, a share, if you want to help support and get some signs out, do that. I'm only going to spend what I need, because that's what everyday people do. I don't have money to waste, and I don't want to waste anybody else's money either.
Sounds like a good philosophy for the county as a
Yeah,
whole, honestly.
exactly.
So,
Exactly.
well, so folks, August 18th, it's the primary. You need to get out and vote then. That is when our Martin County Commission, Indiantown, City of Stewart, everybody, that's when the voting is going to happen. Voter
Mhm.
turnout, for whatever reason, has been low on primary dates. Let's make it
Yes,
a record turnout, right, Althea? We got to
it
get
will
out and
be.
vote.
Yes,
If
we
you want
have
your
to.
voice heard, that's when you do it. You vote.
Exactly.
So if you want to support Althea, please look her up on Facebook, Althea Wiley, and
Mhm.
support her campaign. Any of the candidates, again, thing that's going to mean the most to them is that vote August 18th. And in the meantime, don't forget to follow the Casey Ingram Show on Facebook and
Yeah,
subscribe on YouTube for more conversations that help voters hear directly from the candidates. I'm Casey Ingram.
absolutely.
Stay informed, stay engaged. I'll see you the next episode. Althea, it has been a true pleasure, and I appreciate you coming on today to let
It
us get
has
to know
been.
you more.
Yes,
Good luck
yes.
out there.
Thank you, Casey. You have a great evening.
You too. Thank you.
Bye bye.